Now that we have our definition, let's go ahead and add a pop-up to our screen that's going to show the definition. So I'm going to go back to my JavaScript, and in my display definition response, I'm going to create some DOM objects. So first I'm going to create a div to hold the note. And then I'm going to create another div to hold the contents of the note. And I've provided some CSS styles for this, so let's look at those. So the main note is going to be one of these Dict bubbles, and it's going to have a little thing at the top, a little point at the top, so that it looks like a speech bubble. So we want the class name for the top level div to be Dict bubble top. And then the contents div is going to be a Dict content. And then we're going to put the contents inside of the top level div. So div dot append child contents. And then we want to add the div to the document's body. So let's get the body. And there's only one of those, so we're going to get the first one. And we can add our div anywhere because it's going to be absolutely positioned, and we're going to position it where we want it. So we need to figure out where to put it. But before I do that, I'm just going to go, to start with, I'm just going to put our response inside of the contents box, and then I'll worry about formatting it later on. So contents.inner text is equal to response, and that's going to be more work required here. So positioning. Well, let's start by getting our selection again. And we could have passed this along in a closure. So we could have passed the selection to fetch words. And then if it was a parameter to fetch words, it would be available inside of this scope, so we could pass it to display definition. It's probably worth doing just for an example. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to pass in both words and selection. And then I'm going to take selection as a parameter. And then since this is inside of this lexical scope, I can just pass that along as an argument in my callback. And then I'll have it here. So I can get the rect for this, the selection rect. And that's going to be selection.get range at 0, so the first one, and then 0 for that. So that's going to be the box that's around the selection. And then I also need the scroll position for the window. So I need to do something a little complicated to maintain compatibility with other versions of the browser. So I need the scroll top, which is equal to, and then if document element is defined, then it's document element scroll top. Otherwise, it's going to be body.scrollTop. And then I'm going to do the same thing for scroll left. Or body.scroll left. So that gives me the top and left position that I'm scrolled to. And so now I can set the dict div to be at the right position. So div.style.top is equal to my selection rect.top.bottom, because I want it to be under the selection, plus, and then I need to allow some space for the little triangle at the top, and then plus the scroll position, and then plus px for pixels. And div.style.left is selection rect.left plus selection rect.right, and then I'm going to take this whole thing and divide it by 2. So that's going to be the center of the selected region. And then the place I have the triangle is about 67 pixels over, and then scroll left after that, and then px. So I think that should actually do it. Let me position the thing before I position the thing before I add it to the body. And let's see if I get anything. So I'm going to go ahead and reload here, and I'll click on Dict. Okay, so I have an unexpected identifier. So let's put a breakpoint. Oh, I'm missing an equal sign. So let me fix that. Try reload. Okay, so I hit my breakpoint. Let's continue. Oh, okay. So I got my box. It's not quite in the right position. The height looks good, but I'm over too far. So I really wanted it to be right there, so I must have gotten the 67 wrong. Maybe I needed to subtract the 67 instead of add it. Yeah, that's right, because the box should be a little bit before the selection, not a little after the selection. Let's try that. Good, okay, so that's right where I want it, with the little point right around the middle there. And my definition looks good. I have my scroll bar. And now what I want to do next is, so basically if you click on this box, nothing should happen, but if you click on the body, I want the box to go away. So if you click on anything other than this box, I want the box to go away. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to add an event listener to the body that responds to click events, and then also add an event listener to this box that responds to click events. So if the box is clicked on, it's going to just block propagation so that the body never gets the click. But if you click directly on the body, what it's going to do is it's going to get rid of the box, and it's also going to unregister the click handler that's listening for click. So it'll basically reset itself. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to create a listener. And that's going to be equal to a function and the first thing the function has to do is make this div go away. So body.removeChild div, and then it's got to remove the event listener on the body tag. So body.removeEventListener, and the listener I'm going to pass in is actually this listener right here. So we'll respond to click, body listener, and then that will take care of when the user clicks on the body. Now I'm also going to add the event listener to the body tag. And that's for click. And then I'm also going to add an event listener to the div for click. And this one is going to take the event and then call the event.stopPropagation method. So let's go ahead and try that, see if it works. So I got my pop-up. If I click on the box, nothing happens. If I click on the body, it goes away. So let's make sure that I'm not getting extra event listeners stacking up. So I select the body tag, I go to event listeners, I open click. And I don't have any event listeners. So that's good. If I click on Dict. Now, if I reload this, oh, there's reload. So reload it. Now, you'll see that the body has dict.js on line 12. So it's got my body listener. And if I click off and then reload, you'll see the body listener is gone. So it's removing the listener from the body tag. So that's most of the mechanism I need. The only thing that's really left is formatting this big blob of text into a reasonable looking definition.